Renan has opened up a 2-0 lead for Team Lotus. They're going to be on the blue side in this opening matchup as you see Renan adding that second goal. So 2-0 for Lotus. And the ensuing kickoff, it's an opportunity to add yet another. That certainly would have put this first game away. This will go all the way downfield, and First Killer can't get a piece of it. Afterthought are going to struggle to get back into this first game, and that's going to be trouble, I think, for them, Dazarin, because First Killer is a huge momentum player. When things are going well, it's great, but when things are going like this, no bueno as Haberkapper scores again.
Not a good start for Afterthought, as you see they get another goal scorer and 3-0 with 22 seconds left. You talked about First Killer being a very big momentum player. This is not the way you want to start if you're Afterthought.
And as you can see, we can confirm Lotus, the South American squad on the blue side, pitching a shutout right now in game one. Southview's going to give way to Shock. Nothing doing there. First Killer to send this all the way downfield, but no offense to be had whatsoever for Afterthought as Renan looks to deliver one more for good measure, and they will. Firefox makes it
4-0 to start off day one of DreamHack Montreal for Lotus. I think these guys are definitely ready to show everyone what they're capable of. This is a great start for them as they make a statement in game one.
The first few minutes, obviously you missed that, but you didn't miss a whole lot. It was the Firefox goal, his first of the tournament, followed by Renan scoring as we came in, and it really was all Lotus in game one of this opening series. And for Lotus, that's got to be great, coming out of the blocks really early with a ton of momentum and a ton of pressure.
This is a team that does really good under pressure. For example, when they qualified to get into this tournament, they got swept in the grand finals by INTZ to reset the bracket. So they were already down a series. They had no option but to win if they wanted to qualify for Montreal. And then they came back after being bracket reset and won 3-1. So this is a team that can definitely perform under pressure. That being said, I'm very concerned for Afterthought because it seems like it's the opposite in their end. First Killer, like we said, a very momentum-based player. We only saw short clips of that last game, but we already saw double commits coming out from him on his end when he's playing last man back. That's not a good start for Afterthought. So hopefully they can get this cleaned up, and we might see a more competitive game too for Afterthought.
These are two of the 32 teams that are playing in this main event. 8 in each pod. This pod, Group B, featuring the likes of Reciprocity, the former PSG team, as well as Complexity, Bull Sen, the World Gaming qualifiers, and Rogue is the number 2 seed in this group. Reciprocity most likely waiting for the winner of this match, which, if it follows the current trend, would look to be Lotus. But a brand new game in Game 2, as Afterthought try to get things going, but they will not. Renan with a shot. That gets by the last defender, and Lotus strike again.
Lotus keeping up that momentum from game number 1. A good demo on the play, but it leaves a net wide open, and we see the first goal scored here for Lotus already on the board. 4 minutes and 27 seconds left in game 2.
Renan from Firefox there. They both have a pair of goals to their credit. Haberkapper has one, and they've almost added another. Actually, Afterthought almost added their first. Southview trying to force one through. He cannot. First Killer will try. He'll follow this himself, but can't drop it down. Haberkapper's in the way, and Afterthought are sent packing out of the offensive end. First Killer up the ladder. Nothing there. Southview to center. He cannot find Shock. First Killer will try. That's going to flutter all the way to the corner. No harm done just yet, but it's a new look Afterthought team now. Now they're finally getting the offensive pressure they need, and it's only a matter of time before First Killer or somebody hits one of those crazy double taps.
Good pressure from Afterthought. Now the next step for them is to keep applying offensive pressure. We saw them start to have some good offense there. They almost were able to get a goal scored, but the defense from Lotus is strong, and you need to do a little bit more than that if you want to score.
a high degree of difficulty on many of their shots. They have not converted yet. Afterthought being outscored 5-0 in this series. Sathew's shot is blocked away. Haberkamper will just float one up there for Firefox. He's over one. But Shock will clear this and, more importantly, maintain some bit of control. Now Firefox looking to drop another one down. That's well read by Shock. Equally well read by Renan as Lotus again stand firm at the midfield line.
Lotus keeping up possession right now. That's going to be a big, important factor of the game. Making sure you have that constant pressure, making sure the ball's not in your box, and keeping it into your own opponents and to start stealing moves. Lotus recognize this clearly, but there's also a chance for Afterthought on their other end. They have to be able to get this ball out and effectively push downfield if they want to stand a chance.
Renan whiffs there, so Haberkamper will take this, and Renan is there to help him out. Can he get this ball centered? Looking to add to their lead. And after the miss by Sathew, First Killer does at least keep the ball out of harm's way for the moment. Down to the final 2 minutes of Game 2. Haberkamper lobbing one up, but Renan does not commit. Haberkamper will have to play it again, and he does pretty well. Again, Lotus back on the offensive end. Afterthought had something going. They do again as First Killer cannot get that ball centered, and yet again Lotus can clear.
This is much better for Afterthought compared to game number 1, though. They're not losing by 4 at this point. They're keeping up the possession. Rotations actually look very clean from them. Now, it's just about setting up those goal opportunities. We almost saw one, but unclear on the goal line from Renan.
Sathew, all he can do is bounce one away out of desperation. They are in a difficult spot right now, but First Killer has plenty to play with, and he does have the ball going the right way for Afterthought. Haberkamper, not a great touch. Sathew to First Killer to tie the game, and he does!
Great effort here from Afterthought to be able to get this goal. You see the defense looking a little slow, but the infield pass from Sathew to First right in that front line is so good, so clean, and a lot of space for him to shoot at. That's exactly what you have to do. Set up First Killer. We know he's a momentum-based player, and for him to get heated up is almost unnecessary for Afterthought.
To steal a basketball term, we call someone like First Killer a volume shooter. If he's getting a lot of opportunities, it is only a matter of time before he starts converting the vast majority of them. Here's Shock looking for First Killer again, but First heals off the play, and Haberkamper takes over for the moment. Another chance. Shock denied by Haberkamper. Race to the ball, won by First Killer. Nobody there, though, for Afterthought as Sathew's all the way back. Shock with another quick counterattack. Double commit from Lotus. That could prove costly. Firefox looking for Haberkamper, trying to interfere, and First Killer does come in to swipe that away. First off the backboard, that is well read by Renan. And that's something that I think has improved very quickly for South America. Backboard defense from their brief stint at the World Championship as they are staying in this game. Renan a shot. That's floated away. 7 seconds separating us from overtime. Haberkamper's not going to fall on this. Renan looking for Firefox D and not finding him in time for a shot. And if this ball touches down, we will go to overtime, and we will.
Both teams giving it all they have before the overtime starts. And you can tell whoever wins this one's going to have a lot of momentum going into the next game. Tied up 1-1. It's been very close for these two teams.
First Killer controls around Renan. Firefox there looking for a double. He does not convert. We've seen both teams trying to pull out the solo plays early in this series. Neither has really pulled it off. First Killer banking one towards the target. Out in front for him off of Shock, but saved away. And now watch Lotus on the counterattack. Haberkamper had a tough time with that ball in his defensive backfield, and what looked like a scary situation became not much of anything. Haberkamper challenges Shock. That'll fall right to Sathew, and Renan is all over it. First Killer to the back wall, and yet again well defended by Lotus. Another chance, though. Now they have to stretch out even further off the back line. Haberkamper does, and First Killer saves that to the corner.
Good effort from First Killer on the save. Afterthought, great offense from them as well. Just being able to move this downfield consistently and apply that pressure. Looks like the kind of flow of the game has really started to change here as Afterthought get warmed up and get comfortable.
First Killer's not going to catch up to this one. Renan does. And he steals the corner boost. But nobody there for that centering pass. Haberkamper will try again. They do have plenty of resources to go with this. But again, the pass off the mark. The turnover, almost costly for Lotus. But the save made by Firefox.
I want to keep a lot of emphasis on Renan there. And the play, he goes for a demo. He's out of boost, still tries to get a demo and shock over the wall. He's been a very aggressive player in terms of looking for off-ball demos, but he has to be careful. If he overexerts it, he could put his team in a bad spot defensively, and it could lead to a goal for Afterthought.
Oh, double commit by Shock and First Killer, and Firefox made him pay.
Double commit here from Afterthought. First Killer, he's the last man back. There's no reason for him to be able to jump up for that ball. He doesn't even have that challenge, and you see what happens. They get punished for it. Firefox is going to close out game 2, and Lotus are up 2-0 in the series.
One game away from dropping Afterthought to the lower bracket, and most likely a date with Reciprocity. They are playing one of the pickup teams in this tournament. And we'll update you on Groups A and B as we get those matches. But what a performance, really, from Afterthought for the most part in that game. They came back into this series after getting decimated in Game 1. The problem they faced, though, especially near the end of regulation and into overtime, double commits, and it cost them at the end.
Pointed out double commits when we saw just a little hint of game number 1. And again, these double commits are coming from First Killer. He's out of position, going up for a ball he has no business going up for. And it's put his team in spots. And Lotus is a team that they are going to punish you if you make those mistakes. We've seen it time and time again. It cost them game 1. Well, game 1 was completely gone to begin with, but definitely cost this game 2 overtime. And hopefully they can be able to clean that up because they look so good in this game number 2. I mean, close game, tied up, went into overtime, definitely a good bounce back. But it's that little mistake, that little bad habit from First, and it's costing his team a lot in this quarterfinal.
So trust and chemistry are oh so important in tournaments like this, and that's kind of the challenge for Afterthought, because yes, they qualified online for this event with this roster as Firefox makes the save, and he's still going to clear this away, working double duty here. There's still got to be a lot more chemistry with the Lotus team than this Afterthought team, because going forward, they've got their eyes set on something else with the qualifiers for Rival Series coming up, and playing with Dapper, because First Killer's still ineligible for the RLCS and Rival Series. Renan has Haberkamper there waiting. Can he get that play off? No, he can't, and he has to rotate out. Firefox gets the shot off, but that ball will be sent away. Another chance, Firefox. He is denied, and that goes off of Renan. A fortunate break for Afterthought. What can they do with it? Safew loading one up there. Shock is there as well, but he is greeted by Renan.
Good save there from Lotus too. Ball into the corner, and they're starting to play a little bit more aggressive. But the fact is, Afterthought were getting those shot opportunities based on Lotus being too aggressive. They're starting to rotate a little too close to the ball, not giving enough space and respect to Afterthought. And it's leading to some counterattack that if Afterthought can start to find their marker in their shot, might turn into some goals.
Chance for a double tap there. It goes off the post. Empty net the other way. Firefox scores another one.
This is a good effort here from First Killer, but a miss from Shock. And Safew, he knows he's in the bad spot. He has to chase that ball. That being said, it's much closer to Firefox, and he just gets a nice little tap over him to give Lotus the first goal in Game 3. They hold this lead. They'll do a sweep on Afterthought, and that's going to be a heavy hit for them in this tournament.
That is the 4th goal for Firefox, and every single one of them has been huge, except, well, the one he scored right at the end of Game 1. Make it 5 as he keeps pouring them in.
Again, another goal scored here from Lotus. Renan, a great effort to get it past the first defender, and he just leaves it wide open there for Firefox Lotus are really good at playing that high speed momentum, playing that aggressive style, and I think Afterthought just aren't able to adjust to it.
Loaded up by Sathu, looking to center. Shock will try now, but nothing on that at all. Sathu trying to serve it up for first killer. He got there, but it was just knocked away enough by Firefox, who has done everything so far in this series. 5 goals, at least 1 assist. And now a ball sent downfield as Afterthought try to get back into this series. They are facing relegation down to the lower bracket. Shock does set one up, and first killer can't convert. We've seen him score that a million times, but not this time.
And you can tell just the rattle, the shake of the pressure that Lotus are starting to put on. Afterthought, again, having a tough time. They're getting good goal opportunities. Difference between Lotus and Afterthought in these particular opportunities is Lotus will find the back of the net. That's Camper with the 3rd goal for them.
Again, the hits keep coming for Lotus. Firefox with a great pass out to Camper. And the South American region as a whole, they have really impressed right out of the gates. When they come into RLCS, I believe it was INTZ. Yeah, I believe it was INTZ. Had NRG on the ropes in that series, and the arena was actually kind of starting to turn on NRG at the World Championship. They certainly made a bigger impact in their debut season than Oceania has, really outside of one run in Las Vegas. This will be Firefox to send one away. We will probably see some of OCE on this stream later on in the day. As first killer, all he can do is send that away and try to hold on to some glimmer of hope for Afterthought to come back in this series.
Down by 3 with 1:30 left against a Lotus team that is more than warmed up and ready to play. That is a tough ask for Afterthought right now. They're doing what they can, but again, first killer, he can't even make contact with the ball without getting demoed. They're comfortable and they're in control as Lotus are looking to run out the clock.
This isn't a repeat, I promise, but Sathu and first killer both went after the same ball again. Haberkamper dunks another one in with a minute to go. Shock just trying to find first killer. And that seems to be the plan right now for Afterthought, is just feed first killer and hope he can score something for you. But so far, he has not been able to. Just the 1 goal, the only goal that Afterthought has scored in this series. And it has been all Lotus outside of that, as Shock could just dunk one off to the corner again. And that is it for Afterthought. Just call it right now. It looks like a clean sweep for Lotus, barring something spectacular. And Renan even gets back to stop that one as well.
Lotus only gave up 1 goal this entire series. I believe, oh my goodness, Haberkamper, they're already dead. 20 seconds left. Beautiful redirect by him. A great pass from Firefox. All the boost that he has in the tank. And Haberkamper, if there's any dagger, that's going to be it.
Firefox spreading the love. 5 goals and now 3 assists, as he puts a little bow tie on what has been a dominant performance. First killer can't even score there. Renan stops him. That's when you know it's your day. That one was halfway through. Final seconds will mercifully kick off the clock, and Lotus is off and running in Montreal.
What a performance by Lotus. That is how you start day 1. Maybe Afterthought can get a hint or two from that, but it was just a clinic by Lotus. We saw it as soon as we stepped into the match. 4-0 victory. Another 4. They outscored them